JQLM on your radio.
Radio special edition is coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming to you on the radio. JQLM radio special edition is an interview-based show with local, international, national, well-known or celebrity music artists, comedians, and others in entertainment on the air. JQLM Radio live, y'all. JQLM Radio coming to you live on the radio.
You are tuned in to JQLM Radio, a division of E.G.O Entertainment Network. Welcome to the JQLM Radio Special Edition, where we bring you short, sharp, and star-studded conversations with today's biggest movers, shakers, and headline makers. From red carpets to recording studios, from boardrooms to big screens, if they're making waves, they pulled up to this mic. I'm your host, Lady J. Now, before we introduce our guest today, of course, we must get those formalities out of the way. So, if this is your first time tuning into the show or to JQLM Radio and you would like to share with your family, friends, and followers on all the different ways that they can tune in too, this is what you would share. If you'd like to share with your family, friends, and followers on all the different ways that they can tune in to JQLM Radio, this is what you would share. You can tune in live by downloading the JQLM Radio app on your Apple or Android devices. You can also listen live via Alexa, the TuneIn app, the Simple Radio app, and a host of other platforms of which you can find on our website, where you can also listen live at egoentertainmentnet.com/JQLM-radio. Or just visit egoentertainmentnet.com and click the button right there on the homepage. You can also connect with us via our website or social media at JQLM Radio. That's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Additionally, you can email us at jqlmradio@gmail.com. Find us under our parent company, E.G.O Entertainment Network, on social media at E.G.O ENTNET. That's E.G.O EntNet. You can also follow us on LinkedIn at E.G.O Entertainment Network. And last but not least, make sure you like, subscribe, and share our YouTube channel, E.G.O TV Network. All right, now that you know how to tune in, let's introduce our guest for today. Our guest is Andrea award-winning, filmmaker, fashion powerhouse, and activist. The great niece of Billie Holiday, she's now an author debuting her powerful book, Shades of Black and Blue, a bold story of love and survival. Let's welcome her to the show. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Thank you for accepting. So, real quick, before we get into it, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, like who you are? I gave a little brief summary, what you do, and where you're from.
Yes, so I am an award-winning film director, producer, creative director, book author of Shades of Black and Blue, and a podcast host of Pain into Power. And I'm also an activist and philanthropist. I also help women that go through domestic violence. So I myself am a survivor as well. And I am originally from Baltimore, Maryland, born and raised. I've been in entertainment since I was 18 years old.
Awesome. So you said you've been in entertainment since you were 18. So what form of entertainment did you choose at that age to get your foot in the door?
That's a great question. So I started out at 18 as a model. So I started out at 18 as a model in the fashion world. And then eventually, when I turned about 23, 24, that's when I got into being a fashion designer. So I've showcased for LA Fashion Week with iHeart, New York Fashion Week. And then I got invited to tour all over the world: Beijing, Dubai, Tokyo, Paris, London, and many more.
Awesome. Amazing. So tell me, how did you transition from modeling into film?
From modeling to film, yeah, that is a huge jump. So that's a really great question. I want to say I got into acting before I became a filmmaker. I got into acting right during COVID. I was studying in school at IDSA in London, and I got my first opportunity by this really great film director or casting director, writer boy for the Raincoat Academy. I was an extra, but they gave me lines because I also had a background in training in London. And then from there, I had been writing since I was 9 years old. I found an old script that I wrote years ago as a kid,
Huh.
and then eventually I wanted to produce my own concept. So I made my short film, Deception Streets, which is currently on Roku. And then from there, I went from Deception Streets to Reborn Redemption, which is a martial art film. I learned how to direct, produce, write, cast, all of under $100 making my second film, which won many awards.
That is awesome. It's a little bit like, I guess you can say, a little bit of my experience in the film industry. Pretty much taught myself and watching other people. So
Hmm.
that is, listen, there's sometimes the greatest teacher is hands-on experience.
Yes, I couldn't agree even more. And I think that's the best experience because you get to learn it yourself.
Uh-huh.
And at times you get to learn, but you also get to fall. But when you fall, you got to get back up and you got to learn some more.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So then you added, I believe you said, celebrity fashion stylist to your resume.
Yes. So right when I got into designing, I was getting a lot of requests from a lot of celebrities to style them for main red carpets in magazines and photo shoots. Like my first major client was Silento, Watch Me With, Watch Me Nay Nay. So I created this jacket, this diamond studded or sequence gold jacket for this show called The Doctors. And it was his segment. So that was my first client ever. And then I worked with OG Basketball Wives. I've worked with B2K. I styled them for the real and so many other people. And I have over 30 to 40 publications, including Teen Vanity and Teen Vogue, which was some of my earlier projects. And then I ended up becoming a creative director.
Awesome. That is amazing. You are definitely trailblazing the way for a lot of, other females, especially Black females that want to get into all of those facets of entertainment and then dominate those areas.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's really tough to get into these spaces, especially as a young woman. And, entertainment is male dominating at times, like depending on your industry, but it's not so easy. And the most important thing about getting into, this line of work is networking. Your networking is your net worth. And without networking, I probably wouldn't have gotten half of the opportunities that I was presented.
I know that's right, honey, because I know I'm in the entertainment industry. So and have always been in it. I grew up in it. So, I totally understand. So, Andrea, your book, Shades of Black and Blue, it dives deep into the psychology of toxic love. So, what personal or creative experiences inspired you to tell this powerful story?
My life. The entire book is not based on my life, but the book was inspired by my life. I myself went through abuse at a very young age. Um, and it was crazy. I didn't really know the signs and indications of a toxic relationship or abuse. I didn't know what to look for. And as I got older, when I discovered what that truly was, and it was just unhealthy, I had been sitting on this book for so long, right after I got out of my abusive relationship. I had been sitting on this book for years. And I did not have the courage to publish the book. I was just afraid, or, I didn't want to feel like I was ashamed of what I've gone through. But whatever you go through when it comes to abuse, it's not your fault. You didn't ask for this. No one asks to be put in a toxic situation, an unhealthy one at that. And the older I got, the more I saw myself in more young girls that was me. I was them at some point in my life, and I was young. I was about 23, 24. I was them at one point, and I found myself giving more women and men advice to get out of these situations and how to be safe, you know. And at first, you know, the relationships start out beautiful, but then it ends up deadly sometimes. And so that pushed me to publish my book and to finally finish, you know, because this book may help somebody, if not save their life or encourage them to leave that abusive relationship. Because then oftentimes many victims don't even get the chance to leave. Or sometimes leaving is the most deadliest part because it ends up fatal.
Right, absolutely. And I second everything that you just said as someone who has been abused and assaulted and things of that sort myself, and as someone who works with at-risk youth families and adults on a daily basis. So I definitely agree with everything. And sometimes telling your story, whether that be through speaking or through your music or through film or through a book or whatever avenue you choose, somebody is going to see it, hear it, you know, and or experience it, and it may touch them in a way or give them some gems that may help them in their situation. So I definitely commend you for doing that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It takes a lot of courage, and I'm so sorry you went through this. You know, I find that this is very common and it's happening more and more. And it's happening at younger ages at like 12 and 13. Those are just babies. Those are just children,
Absolutely.
you know? And I feel
Absolutely.
like we need more of us to share our stories and to show the youth, especially our young girls and boys, like this is not okay. This is not
Hmm.
normal and it's not right. Report it, you know,
Right.
walk away.
Right, absolutely. And I tell people all the time too, it's not just enough that we share our stories, because sharing your story really for another person is just letting them know that they're not alone, or that there's somebody out there that can understand what they're going through and that can relate to them. However, it is very important that once you share your story, you also share some of the lessons you learned, some mistakes that you made and how you overcame those things, and share some tools with them that they can use and apply to their own life and situation, so they can actually come out of it the same way you did.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because it makes all the difference, especially in the beginning stages of getting out of that. Because, like, after each storm, there is endless possibilities and there's always light after a storm. So, with giving more victims hope once they leave, because sometimes they feel hopeless. Sometimes they don't know what to expect or the unexpected. Where do I go from here? You have to figure out what your new normal is, what your life is going to look like. Or do you go back to what you were used to? But you're right, it's best to take a risk on that new chapter and opening that door and closing the last one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, you've built an incredible career in fashion and film. What made now the right time to step into the literary world and share such an emotionally charged narrative?
So my reason for doing that is because I wanted to make more of a difference. I wanted to be more hands-on. I wanted to be able to connect with my audience, with my supporters, and with ultimately anybody that's currently going through it. Because I mean, with fashion, yes, you're making a difference in the fashion world to a certain extent. You only have like a limited amount of power. With film, you control the narrative, you can create the stories that are often swept under the rug, being the voice for the voiceless. And so I'm pushing that narrative, being the voice for the voiceless, because a lot of people don't have a voice to speak up, or a lot of people don't really know how to speak up for themselves. So that's where someone else speaks for them, giving them that hope, you know?
Right, right. Absolutely. Honey, I know. We produced a film last year called I Survived Suicide, and it those are the conversations that people don't like to have. And it's not just the conversations of, like you said, with abuse, whether it be sexual abuse or emotional abuse or whatever the case may be, or suicide, or any of those things. It's also the factors that contribute to those things, right? We don't like to talk about the things that go on behind closed doors, the things that are swept under the rug, and, that contribute to those those behaviors, and those experiences. And that's important for, for everybody. One, so that we know the signs, two, so that people know they're not alone. And three, how to address it and how to heal from it and overcome it. So I definitely commend you for being one of those people that is not just putting out content that is entertaining or just for entertainment, because we have a lot of that. We have enough of that, right? We need more things out there, more content out there that really speaks to real life issues.
Yes, I definitely agree with you. Just having that information and knowledge does make a difference, especially for the other people going through it.
Yes. So, through your advocacy and your upcoming program, Life After the Storm, what message do you want survivors of emotional or domestic abuse to take away from your work?
That there is endless possibilities now, after, and furthermore, and that you don't have to just be a victim. You don't have to be anybody's victim. You have to be your own hero. You have to save you first. Because when I was in their shoes, I was expecting someone to save me, and nobody came to save me. I had to walk away and save myself. I had to be my own hero. So that way I can be a hero to other people, to other girls that look up to me, to other men that look up to me. You have to be your own hero in this narrative. You have to make the first step for change and to getting your power back and to making your pain into your power instead of drowning in your own pain. Make it your power.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So, last but not least, can you tell everybody where they can get the book and how they can connect with you and support you?
Mhm. So you guys could purchase the book through Amazon.com. I am currently on Amazon right now and trending. And you guys can reach out to me at my website, www.redemptionimages.com. Same for social media, Redemption Images, and Andrea the Creative.
Awesome. Well, Andrea, it was such a pleasure speaking with you today and learning more about you and your career and your message, and your content and things that that you put out into the world. So I really appreciate the conversation.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. All right, JQLM radio listeners. So, if y'all don't take anything else away from this interview with Miss Andrea, listen, one, remember that awareness is power. Recognizing manipulation and control is the first step toward breaking free from toxic love, y'all. And we know there's a lot of that going around now. So, also, art can heal. Writing, storytelling, and creative expression are powerful tools for reclaiming identity and voice after trauma. And last but not least, remember that resilience redefines you. Survival isn't just about escaping pain, it's about transforming it into purpose, strength, and self-discovery. I want to thank y'all once again for tuning in. All right, stay locked in to JQLM Radio Special Edition, your exclusive pass to short, sharp, and star-studded interviews with the world's most inspiring voices. Until next time, I'm Lady J, reminding you it's not just an interview, it's a special edition.
It's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Special edition. Yeah.